So the Oklahoma Sooners' secret weapon strikes again, and OU gets to start off the month of July hot, getting a big-time win for a top 100 player in all of high school football, Cortez Mills, out the state of Florida. Today, we need to talk about this secret weapon. We need to break down Cortez Mills and why this is such a big addition. But before we can, as always, y'all know the drill. I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Give me a Y for yes, N for no. Are you excited that Mills joins this stacked recruiting class for Oklahoma? And let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed that content, be sure to like and comment down below. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And before we really get started on Cortez Mills and why this is such a big addition, you may be asking yourself, well, who is Oklahoma's secret weapon? Well, make no mistake, Sooner fans, he's not a secret to any OU fan out there, but I still maintain that on the national stage, he's not talked about near enough. And of course, we're talking about Emmett Jones as he continues to accrue win after win for the Oklahoma Sooners, not only in terms of recruiting, but when you look at how he's formulated the recruiting in terms of the stylistic differences of the wide receivers he's been able to get. I mean, just last year, you're talking about 6'6" Ivan Carrion out of Texas, and now you also have some speed guys who can play that slot. He is making sure every wide receiver position on the field, X, Z, and Y, are taken care of, and that you're going to have a body there that's capable of running this offense. He is a fantastic recruiter. He is a fantastic relationship builder, but he's also a phenomenal wide receiver coach. I think that you're going to see an Oklahoma wide receiver room this season that shocks a lot of people that may be doubting what they have. And for those not paying attention, OU's got some really intriguing talent in that room. Now, for those paying attention, you won't be surprised. We've talked about this time and time again. Personally, I find the Oklahoma wide receiver room to be one of the strongest units on the team. I mean, you're talking about several units on that defense. Getting Danny Stutzman to return was massive. You have a lot of talent at the linebacker position. Getting Billy Bowman to return, that's massive. You got a lot of talent at that defensive back position. But you are absolutely stacked at the wide receiver position. From Andrel Anthony, Jaleel Farouk, Gibson, Anderson. There's also Deion Burks. There's Petaway. I mean, there are so many different options in that room that some college football fans out there might not know yet, but I don't think that's going to take long. And I think Emmett Jones is a big reason as to why that room, one, is a room I'm so excited about, and two, is a room that not only looks bright now, but looks bright into the future. Because this is not the only wide receiver win he has gotten in the class of 2025, far from it. He is stacking wins. We'll talk about that here in a second, but let's shift our focus to Cortez Mills. In the intro, I alluded to the fact that he is a top 100 player in the nation, and if we look at the 24/7 Sports Composite specifically, he comes in as the number 84 player in the nation, the number 11 wide receiver, and the number 12 player in the state of Florida, a state absolutely loaded with talent year in, year out. I've said this before, I'm not sure what the numbers are in 2025, but in previous classes, if you were to break it down to just Texas and Florida, usually it's over 100 of the top 300 prospects are coming from those two states, which is incredible to think about, and I would expect it won't be far off in the class of 2025. But whenever we talk about Cortez Mills, what does he bring to the table? Well, there's a few things that stand out. First and foremost, he's got great burst, but he has got exceptional balance. And he utilizes this in a manner of ways, right? Whenever you're talking about what he's able to do with the ball in his hands, he's able to make cuts, he's able to utilize that balance, make a defender miss, and use that burst to get up to top speed, which, by the way, is quicker than most people on the football field, and get away from defenders. I mean, he does this time and time again, but perhaps the more impressive use of this balance is his ability to have a very large catch radius. He goes up and gets the ball time after time after time, and he's making acrobatic catches. And it's not a one-off. If you turn on the huddle film, it's happening consistently. He has a great use of body control. He is really explosive with the ball in his hands. He's got great burst, and he's got good long speed. When you combine all of that, you have a dangerous wide receiver who stands 6'1" and 170 pounds, and he plays his high school football in Homestead, Florida. This is a really good win for Oklahoma. Not only is it a great win anytime you can get a 4-star top 100 guy in high school football, because we've talked about this before, there's some ambiguity once you get to the top 100 players in the nation, right? I mean, they are very, very gifted, and Cortez Mills is incredibly gifted. But on top of that, you have got a loaded wide receiver class already. As we sit here and talk, Cortez Mills is the 5th addition to this wide receiver class. And let's really go through the names. You have the law firm of Harris & Harris, as I will be referring to it as here on out. You also have Elijah Thomas. You have Emmanuel Choice, who I'm a really big fan of. This is a solid wide receiver class. You got 4 guys already, and then you add in top 100 guy Cortez Mills. And it kind of goes to prove what I was talking about the stylistic differences, right? I mean, you look at Emmanuel Choice, 6'4", big frame wide receiver, able to do a lot. You look at Harris, and Thomas, they have some versatility to their games, where you can slot them at multiple different positions and have them be successful. But when you look at Oklahoma's roster, you already have your outside guys taken care of, and you're only adding on to that with an Emmanuel Choice. Your other guys you can slot to the outside, but if you need a slot wide receiver, I mean, you have multiple options. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about stylistic differences. And make no mistake, I'm not just saying some of these guys have one position and one position only. Oklahoma has done a fantastic job of utilizing versatile recruiting, trying to get these guys in here that can play multiple different positions while also maintaining a structured outlook. And to me, that's cohesive recruiting. That's what we're always talking about when we're talking about what it means to be a cohesive recruiting class. Recruit to your needs, but also recruit in a manner that's going to allow you to build going forward, and I love to see that. Oklahoma, as we currently sit here and talk about where they rank in recruiting, this is a class that's firmly in the top 10 recruiting classes in the nation, and I'm really interested to see where they're going to end up. OU has consistently logged top 10 class after top 10 class after top 10 class under Brent Venables. And it's going to be very interesting to see what they're able to continue doing once they enter the SEC, which, by the way, officially happened today for the Oklahoma Sooners and the Texas Longhorns. As July is here, they are now officially a part of the SEC. But luckily for the Sooners, because that news dropped so early, you were able to recruit off of that for quite some time now. But now it's official, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And it's going to be great to stop having theoretical conversations and actually have tangible conversations. But before we get out of here, with this edition, Oklahoma now has 20 prospects in the class of 2025, and they jump Oregon, who's coming off of a fantastic end to the month of June for that number 5 recruiting class in the nation. Hop down to the comments, let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.